Hi, I'm Kelly from Kelly J Jewellery. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these cute chain links, and you can make them into bracelets or chains or whatever you want to do with them. We do finish them off with little bracelet clasps at the end. As you'll hear from towards the beginning of this video, I do intend them to be one bracelet, and I was going to mix them up, but I took them apart, and I do prefer them being separate like this. I think they're absolutely lovely. But anyway, you can make your own mind up as you go. You can make what you want, see how you get on, and tag me. I'd love to see what you make. Put a list of everything you'll need in the description below. So let's get to it. So I'm using, for my base wire, I'm using 20 gauge power wire. And for my weaving wire, I'm using 28 gauge weaving wire power wire. And so that would be 0.8mm and 0.315mm. So because we're just making chain links, you can use any wire you like. I'm going to use this because it's nice and shiny, and I'll show you what we're going to do. So just going to straighten my wire a bit. When it comes off these little reels, it's all wobbly. So of course you can make as much or as little as you like. To start with, we're going to measure 2 centimeters from the end, so it's quite a tiny link really. I'm going to grip that wire there, so we've gripped it 2 centimeters from the end. We're going to bend it over completely, and we're just going to pinch that wire flat. It does twist a little bit, and then if you've got some bail pliers, if not you can just use your round nose if you like. We're just going to bend the end around and close it. So we bent the 2 wires around, and then I'm going to grip just underneath that loop, and I'm going to bend both wires back. Okay, so next you take your round nose pliers, that many pliers around at the moment, and we're going to grip this wire. Right, let's cut that off. So from where the wire stops, we want 1 centimetre. Where's my cutters? We want 1 centimetre extra of that wire there. There we go. It's a bit easier to handle. So we want the little wire. I'm just going to clip that very end off because I want a flat end. Hold on a minute. So we grip the little wire. We're going to bend it over. We're going to leave it open for a minute. Now, what I want you to do is hold in the other wire, pull it forwards. And we want this wire to meet that wire there. Then take a little bit of weaving wire. So mine is wound onto a bobbin. And we're going to wrap around the longer wire. I've gone 3 times. Slide it down. Then we take the wire over the open little wire or curl, and we wrap around twice. Then we go 3 times around the longer wire, push it all together, give it a little pull on each side so it's nice and tight, cut off those wires. press down those little cut ends. There you go, we've nearly done it, and I've done it all in one take. This is going to be a nice, quick, easy video. Nice and simple. Grab your round nose, and we're going to curl this one away. So this one comes in, this one is going to go out. So you grip it, but you want quite a big curl, so grip it like nearly halfway down. Curl it around into a nice big curl and close that curl. And then go back to your little curl and close that one. And I know it looks like a crazy little seahorse, but that's our link. So go back to your wire, again starting 2 centimeters from the beginning, and make a handful of those, and that's going to be our main little link for our bracelet. So this bracelet is going to consist of 2 types of links, and that is the first one. So when you've made a few, you can lay them out. That's Gracie snoring ever so loud. So this one comes this way. I've turned this one over, and then that one goes that way, and I've turned this one over. That one goes that way, and I've turned that one over. Quite a pretty link. So what we do is now we have to add like a little jump ring in between each bit to tie them together. So this is just the first link, but you can make a bracelet just out of this if you want to. And I don't know if you can see, the coating on power wire, it comes straight off. You can see the silver underneath on the end there. The coating just comes straight off. So don't get running and buying power wire because you saw me using it. I just found this in the drawer. I bought this years ago and I thought I'd make something shiny. But all the coating is coming off already. So that's our first link. Now let's have a look at the second link. So this next one is the same measurements but a completely different shape. So we want, and before we start, I'm just going to cut that tip off so it's nice and flat to start with. Right. Just going to move that light out my face. So we're going to start again 2 centimeters from the end. Where's my pliers gone? 2 centimeters from the end. We're going to bend that wire completely over itself, and then press the end nice and flat. Come on, gotcha. Now it's best to use your bail pliers if you've got them. If you haven't, you can use your round nose, but you're going to have to improvise a bit, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to grip it here, and I'm going to bend one wire around the bigger end, so the shorter wire goes around the bigger loop and the longer wire goes around the smaller loop. You're going to bring them together to make this wonky heart shape like this. Where those wires meet, where's my cutters gone? We want about 1 centimetre after where those wires meet. We're going to cut the wire. Right. Now where's my round nose gone? I am so not organised today. Take your round nose, grip the tip, and we're going to make a loop, but we're going to keep it open like we did before, while we do our little joins. Now I'm going to push it up a little bit because it's gone a bit too far over. That's it. So that's the shape I want. So we'll join it now, like we did with the other one, and then we'll curl the last one and close the curls. So on the longer length, we go 3 times around, slide it along, and then going through that open loop, pulling the wires together. We go around twice, and then we'll go 3 times. Cut off that at both ends and press those ends down. Now, because I slid my wire along, that's ended up being longer than I want it to, hasn't it? That looks like it's going to be a bit too long. So I'm going to go back to, I want 1 centimetre from that join. So I should adjust it down first and then measure your centimetre, otherwise it ends up being a bit long. Grab your round nose, so this one comes this way, so this one is going to go that way. And we want again a nice big loop, so almost halfway down your round nose. Bring it around and close that loop, and it should close against the weaving wire. Close the little loop, because you don't want these catching on everything. And there we have a cute little heart chain link. So I'm going to make a bunch of these, jump back and make a bunch of these, and then you can have a line of hearts, or you can incorporate it into a chain with the other links. So I'll make a bunch of those and I'll show you how it looks. Let me show you that one again, because I didn't quite get the measurement right, did I? So we go 2 centimetres from the end. And we grip that there. And we bend that over completely. Give it a little squeeze, it may twist, it's fine. Grip that there. Now if you're using round nose, you're going to have to improvise and use the very base for this side, because I want this side to be a bit bigger and this side to be a bit smaller. We take the little wire around the bigger one, so you'd have to shape that around the bottom of your round nose, and this goes around the other one, so maybe halfway up the round nose. So you've got this shape. Then take your round nose and we're going to curl the short wire out. We're not going to close it. Now pull it down a little bit so it evens the shape like that. Then measure 1 centimetre, cut that. And then we join. So take your weaving wire, wrap it around the longer wire 3 times. These are really nice to make. I've just made a bunch. They're really quite nice to make. They're not tricky. Once you've got your head around the measurements and that, it's all good. And then we go around that half loop. You can see that coating coming off already there, look on the end. Go around again, and then we'll go 3 times around the straight longer wire. Push it all together, cut it off, And then take your time pressing it down, because you don't want any little bits sticking out. You really want to press it all down there. So this one goes this way, so this one has to go this way. So take your round nose, doing a nice big loop, so almost centrally. We're going to go around until it closes, and then grab the little one and close that. How cute is that? A nice little heart link. And then when you put them together in a bit, what we'll do, so the big loop, the little wire is the bigger loop. So if these two are the same, I'm going to turn it over, and the big loop at the bottom attaches to the shorter wire at the top. And then take another one, same way as the first one. The loop at the bottom attaches to the shorter one there, and that is such a cute chain. It really is lovely. Got one more. That's going to go that way like that. And we join them together in the middle with little jumpings that I'm about to make. And it's really quite cute. So you can do the first link, or you can do the second link, or you can mix them up and do a bit of both. So a nice little addition to these, to add beads to this. So we're going to be using this loop here, so the shorter wire. So the other one, we can pop a little bead on. So it looks like a 4mm stone is going to fit better for me. Yeah, so 4mm fits mine. So again, you need to look at your beads, look at what you've got, because you could adapt it. If you've only got 5mm beads, you could make that loop bigger when you're making them. Take that into account. So I'm going to add a few, we can add a few beads to these as well. So I'm going to go for these little goldstone beads. It looks like, oh, they are. I was going to say it looks like some are not going to fit. So what we need is just a little bit of weaving wire. Oh dear, don't look at all the coating coming off, which is the best way to go. So let's cut a bit of this off. So cut a short length of weaving wire. And we're obviously going to go across this side with the big curl at the bottom. I won't be using this wire much in the future. Wrap around. So we want to wrap around, I'd say 3 times on the one side. This could be a bit time consuming. So wrap around 3 times on the one side of that side. Pop your bead on. This wire is actually quite nice and strong, so I don't think I'll need to go around a couple of times. I was going to go through again. I don't think I'll need to. Just go around the wire on the other side, holding the bead in place. Pull it nice and tight. And then you need to obviously go around like 3 times. So then you need to cut off both ends, and again take your time pressing those cut ends down so they're properly pressed out the way. Interesting, cute little link. I'm really pleased with that. I'll do that to my other my other links. So I found in my cupboard, because I've bought all sorts of stuff over the years, I forgot about it. These are little polka dot seed beads. So I can't use them on the base wires because the hole isn't big enough. I'm wondering if I can use them with my weaving wire. Just about. So a seed bead will fit onto your weaving wire, and then on your smaller pieces you can attach it in there between the wires. So wrap 3 times around one side and around the other and attach it the same way as we did for the hearts. So I've added all my beads, and I've decided if you put the links together like this, then they look really good. So you have to, with the hearts, we're linking the non-beaded link. So if this one's got the bead on this side, we turn this one over and we link the other side, and then again we turn it over and we link the other side, turn it over, link the other side. Do you know what I mean? So that would sit quite nice. And we'll add the middle links in just a moment. And with these, what we can do is, we've got the double bend going to the left, we then do the double bend going to the right. And I've added all the little beads. They're like seahorses. I've added little beads to their bellies. So we've got hearts and seahorses. So if we make some little jump rings to go with those. So I'm going to do it with the power wire. I'm going to make quite small ones. I might just go with this size here. And I'm just going to wrap that around and around there. And then cut them off to make little jump rings. Those might be a bit big actually. I reckon I could go smaller than that. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at this size. If I was to go and wrap it around and around that size, that would fit. That would fit quite well. So I'm going to make a load of jump rings that size, and then I'm going to attach them all together. When you've wrapped a load on, if you take your cutters and cut this way, and then turn your cutters around and cut that little bit off, you end up with all your jump rings having the flat ends. You do that all the way up. Hold on. And then you use those to link all your chain links together. So I've linked them all together. Really pleased how it looks. I've sent them one way and then the other. Or each one of them has a little bead in there. And then the heart one way and then the other. So cute. Really pleased how they've come out. Something you can do to speed things up a bit, I've just noticed, is you can add beads as you make them. So instead of doing this join here, if you slide your wire along a bit further, we can add the bead and then use the same wire to then do the join as well. Do you know what I mean? Wrap your wire around, pull it down, add your bead to that wire. want to go around that single wire a couple of times, and now you want to get yourself in place so you can do the join on the end. So here I can now wrap around the 2 wires and then around the longer wire. This weaving wire is so tough. I can get away with just a couple of wraps. So push it all together, cut off all your ends, finish it off as normal. So I'm going to bend this one around and close that loop, and that's a much quicker way if you do want to add a bead to every one. So when you've made your chains and you're happy, I've added more links to mine, so they're quite long now. We need to make some ends so we can finish them off. I'm going to stick with the base wire that we're using, the same base wire, and I'm going to do something similar to this. So I'm going to do it in like 2, so it's got a little bit of strength to it. I'll show you. Take your base wire, and you want about, measure to 4 centimetres. Grip the wire with your pliers and bend it completely over. And then if you struggle to hold the wire like I do and it keeps twisting around, if you hold it with a pair of pliers and then squeeze the top with another pair of pliers, she says, you can squeeze it a bit better, a bit easier than holding it with your fingers. So then we're going to grip the end, bend it over completely so it meets against the back of the wire there. And then, how big do we want it? We don't want it that big, so I'm going to go with this size. So pushing it against the pliers there, we're going to pull it all the way around and back like this. So then there, where the wire ends, sorry, we can just cut the other one to be the same. I really need to give myself some more space. And then with your round nose, wherever I've put them, we just curl that very end over. And that's one end of our clasp. And I've done it as a double so that it's stronger. You can do it as a single, but it might just pull. Look at all the coating coming off that. It's awful, isn't it? The power wire, the rose gold power wire, is silver plated with a gold colour and then a coating on top of that. It's all just coming off. For the other end, we just need a double loop. So if we was to say, what size do we need? If we was to say go for this one, leave yourself a little bit of length and then take the wire around, go around twice. So you've got 2 wraps. Then we're going to grip the wire here. We're going to bend it. Come back. You'll be better off holding it. Better off holding it. Try it this way instead. If you pop it on your round nose, then what we're going to do is we're just going to bend the wire up. That's what I wanted to do. Oh, there you go, that worked. And those wires are just going to go over the middle there. And then that is going to attach to the bottom loop. So if you can, which we can, you can just open up that loop. If you can't, then you have to open up both of those loops. Do you know what I mean? You have to open up both of these loops to get it on there. Whoop. Or we can just pop that on there like that. Make sure it all closes up nice. And then on the other end, we need a little jump ring to attach those two together. So I've made more little jump rings, and I'll attach those two onto there. So now we have an end, so we can join it up. If you've got thicker wire, you can just do them singularly, and you can just go round and round and not make those loops and just pop them on that ring if you can open it. I presumed that it was on a ring I wouldn't be able to open, but yeah, you can just wrap around twice, so you've got jump rings, and just pop your jump ring straight on there, save making the little loops at the bottom. And if you've got the thicker wire, you don't need to do it in twos. So there we go, I've said all that twice. I really get on my own nerves when I'm editing. I keep saying everything twice, I have to keep cutting it all out. I just have to try and not look at all the coating keep coming off. So on this one, I haven't done as many links. So what you can do is you can make it adjustable. If you make a few jump rings and link them all together into a chain, you can then attach a chain here, and then we can do a little join here that's a lot more lightweight than that chunky one on the other one. And then you can have it adjustable, so you can link into any of the chain links. I'll show you. So take your base wire and make some more chain links. You make some more, hold on, jump rings. I got there in the end. So we're just wrapping it around and around. The smaller wire is nice and easy to cut when you're doing jump rings with a big chunky wire. Though I do prefer the big chunky jump rings, they aren't off hard to cut. And when we've done a bunch, we'll cut it off there for a minute. Then we do that little cut and turn thing. So you cut with the flat side facing in, turn it around, cut the next one, and that one will be fine. That one should have two flat edges. The next one's got a pointy bit, see? So we cut that bit off first. turn the pliers around. Cut the next one, you've got 2 flat bits, and you keep going. Don't cut your nails. Please mention me when sharing your finished work online. I normally say don't show images of the back as it gives the design away, but these haven't really got a back. So I really appreciate all of you. I really do, honestly, I really do. I love to see your finished work as well, tag me. Nearly done. A few more left. Thank you to all my patrons for your continued support. I really appreciate you guys. And if you'd like to see early videos with no ads, get exclusive tutorials and all the discounts and everything else, hop on over to Patreon and check it out. Where? That one's gone in my trousers. So one of those isn't a complete one. So we just need to link all these together to make a little chain, and then we'll do some little ends. So I've inked a bunch of jump rings, so I've got a little chain. And we're going to open up the last one. And attach it to the end. You can just add more links if you want to. I'm just going to do a little adjustable end here. So we'll do a little delicate end for that one. So I'm going to bend the end around till it meets the wire at the back. Then I'm going to bring it around so it kind of meets itself there. Hold on. So it's very small and dinky. So I went around the smaller size, then I went around the next size up, and I've come across, and then I bent it back out. And that's a nice little, very little delicate end for that one. I added a few more links to the chain, so it's a little bit longer. And we just need to attach them. I'm going to attach it with a really small link. So as my jump rings have all been around here, I'm going to do just a little jump ring from this side. So I've got one a bit smaller, really tiny, and I'll use that, if I don't lose it, to attach the little delicate clasp to the heart there on the end. Feel free to finish yours however you want to. Really pleased how that one's turned out. So then the end, you can then grip into any of them. So you can go into the last one if you want it to be on the biggest size. And depending on how close this gap is here, you won't lose, it won't come off. If you push it through and it does a little click sound as it goes through, it's not going to come back out. And yeah, you can grip it into any of them to make it smaller. So there's the two different ends that I did. The one's adjustable. And there we have them finished. I'll show you a more close up. So there we have them finished. Really pleased how they've come out. I think they're really lovely. Really lovely. Please tag me. I would love to see the bracelets that you make, the chains that you make. Really, you can do anything with these. You can add them to pieces as well. You could add them above bales to attach chains to, and there's so many things you could do. I'll have to do another video on all the different uses of these little chain links and things. So anyway, I'll let you go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now. Bye.